Hey, what's up guys, it's DarkArmedDuelist and today doing a Blue Eyes Chaos Max Dragon deck profile. So I'm really excited for you guys because this deck is an amazing OTK deck that is just super fun to be able to play and summons out my favorite ritual monster of all time, Blue Eyes Chaos Max Dragon. This is a very different build from anything I've posted on the channel and I'm really excited to show you guys this particular build. So without further ado guys, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell there so you can become part of the notification squad, and definitely check out the Patreon down in the description below for all those awesome rewards, like getting your name description in a single video, getting a signed cards in the mail, and even getting to request a deck profile every single month you're a patron. So without further ado, let's get straight on into this. So first off, we're going to be playing 3 copies of Blue Eyes Chaos Max Dragon. This card is absolutely insane, and it's just super good in this particular deck. It has the ability you can ritual summon this card with Chaos form, and it must be ritual summoned and cannot be special summoned by other ways. It cannot be targeted or destroyed by your opponent's card effects, and if this card attacks a defense position monster, you inflict double piercing damage to your opponent, which makes it super easy to OTK the opponent by just making sure that they have a monster in defense position that has 0 defense points, because you'll do 8,000 points of damage by attacking into it, and that's really easy to do in this particular build. I'm then playing a single copy of Blue Eyes Chaos Dragon. I still feel like 1 copy of this card is really good in this particular deck. You can ritual summon this card with Chaos form, and it must be ritual summoned, and your opponent cannot target this card with card effects, and it can't be destroyed by your opponent's card effects either. And if this card was ritual summoned using a Blue Eyes White Dragon, when it declares an attack, you can change the battle positions of as many of your opponent's monsters as possible, and it also has the ability that it reduces their attack and defense down to 0. And it has the ability it also does piercing damage, which is really good. We then play a single copy of White Knight of Dogmatica. This card is a really good one-of in the deck because you can actually use your copy of Nadir to send a Herald of Arclight from the extra deck to the graveyard to search this card from the deck, which is really insane because then you'll get an additional search of a ritual spell or a ritual monster off the effect of the Herald of Arclight. But this card is super easy to summon to your side of the field because you can ritual summon this card with Dogmatic Calamity, and you can't special summon monsters from the extra deck while this card's on the field. And if your opponent activates a card or an effect except during the damage step, you can send a monster from your extra deck to the graveyard, and if you do, look at your opponent's extra deck and send a monster from it to the graveyard. And this card gains attack equal to half the combined attack of those monsters sent to the graveyard until the end of this turn, which is a great effect because this card can get absolutely massive with that ability. We then play 2 copies of Blue Eyes White Dragon. Blue Eyes White Dragon is a really good 2-of in this particular deck to be able to send a graveyard off advanced ritual art to summon out any of our ritual monsters. And this card looks absolutely amazing on this camera. We then play 3 copies of my personal attack in the deck, and I'm actually going to play these 3 face down and play Guess That card. So this is a 3-of card that helps us OTK the opponent, and is a really awesome tech card in this particular deck that we want to get to our hand as quickly as possible to be able to OTK the opponent. So this card is a really good 3-of in this particular deck. So we're actually going to reveal that card in 3, 2, 1, and don't forget to like, comment, subscribe guys, and hit that bell in there so you can become part of the notification squad. So let's go ahead and see what it is. So this card is a really good 3-of, and it's actually 3 copies of Nightmare Corruptor Ibly, which is our only real normal summon in this particular deck. So the reason we're playing this card as a 3-of is because we can link this card away and then give it to the opponent, which is super easy to do because all we do is normal summon this card out to the field and then link into a copy of Salamangreat Alamirage, which will give the copy of Nightmare Corruptor Ibly to the opponent because it'll summon in defense position, which is really cool because then all you have to do is summon Chaos Max, attack into it, and go in for game. As long as their life points are still at 8,000 or below, you will OTK, which is really cool. I absolutely love this card as a 3-of the deck, and it's super powerful to be able to give this card to your opponent, because with cards like She and Spy, you have to have a monster on the field and then have She and Spy, but with this card, all you have to do is link it away. We then play 3 copies of Dogmatica Ecclesia. Ecclesia is a really good 3-of in the deck for the small Dogmatica package we are playing in this deck. This card helps us out a lot because if we control a monster that's special summoned from the extra like our copy of our Alamirage, we do get to special summon this card from our hand and then add a copy of Dogmatica card from our deck to our hand, which is always going to be our copy of Maximus we're actually searching, because Maximus is almost like a Rhoda in this deck, and it's really good because you banish a Fusion, Synchro, Exy, or Link monster from your graveyard to special summon this card card from your hand, which your copy of Nadir is already sending one of those to the graveyard to be able to give you a search of your copy of Ecclesia. And it has the ability also that during your main phase, you can activate this effect to send 2 monsters with different names from your extra deck to the graveyard. Also, your opponent sends 2 monsters from their extra deck to the graveyard, and you can't special summon monsters from the extra deck the turn you activate this effect, which is not that big of a deal because we're not summoning from the extra deck all that often with this deck anyways. This card is super good to send like a copy of Garura to be able to draw a card and a copy of Herald of Arclight to be able to search a ritual monster or a ritual spell directly from your deck to your hand. So this card is a definite one of in the deck. I'm then playing an Incantation package, which is going to be 3 copies of Talismandra. Talismandra is really good in this deck, as the ability to reveal a ritual monster in your hand to special summon both this card and 1 Incantation monster from your deck to your side of the field. And has the ability, if this card is special summoned from the deck, you get to add a ritual monster from your deck to your hand, and all of your Incantation monsters share the ability that you cannot special summon from the extra deck while they're on the field. I then play 3 copies of Kandal. Kandal does the exact same thing, but it searches ritual spells, and you have to reveal a ritual spell to special summon this card to your side of the field from the hand. We then play 2 copies of Bookstone. Bookstone's really good because you reveal a ritual spell to special summon this card from your hand, and if this card is special summoned from the deck, you get to target a ritual spell in the graveyard and add it to your hand. I then play 2 copies of Pencil Plume to round out the monsters. This card is really good in the deck as well. You reveal a ritual monster, special summon this card from your hand, and when it's special summoned from the deck, you get to add a ritual monster from your graveyard to your hand, which is a super good effect. So that's it for the monsters, guys. Let's get into the spells. So for the spells, we're going to be playing a single copy of Dogmatic Calamity. This is just searchable off your copy of your incantations, and it's how you summon out your copy of your White Knight. But this card is super good because this card can be used to ritual summon any Dogmatic or ritual monster, and you must also tribute monsters from your hand or field whose total level exactly equal the level of the ritual monster. And you can ritual summon, when you ritual summon, you can also send 1 ritual or 1 monster from your extract to the graveyard whose level equals the level of the ritual monster, which is a pretty good effect to have on this card. We then play 2 copies of Advanced Ritual Art. Advanced Ritual Art is a really good 2 of them in the deck, so we can send Blue Eyes White Dragon from the deck to the graveyard to summon out any of our ritual monsters since they're all level 8. I then play 2 copies of Chaos Form, so we can banish Blue Eyes White Dragon from the graveyard to summon out our copy of Blue Eyes Chaos Max, or a copy of Chaos Dragon to our side of the field. But this card can also send a level 8 monster from our hand to the graveyard so that we can actually ritual summon that monster out, but this card is used to summon out Blue Eyes Chaos Max or Chaos Dragon. We then play 3 copies of Extra Foolish Burial. This card is really good because by paying half your life points, you send a monster from your extract to the graveyard, which is great to be able to send Herald of the Arclight from your extract to the graveyard, so you get that search of a ritual monster or a ritual spell. We then play 3 copies of Nadir's Servant. Nadir's Servant is really good in this deck because you send a monster from your extra graveyard to add a Dogmatica monster or a Fallen Volbaz from your deck or graveyard to your hand. Also, for the rest of the turn, you cannot special summon from the extra deck, but this card is really good to be able to search those cards from your deck to your hand because all it has to have is less attack than the monster you send to the graveyard. So if you send Herald of the Arclight with 600 attack points from your extra deck to the graveyard, you can actually search out the copy of the White Knight, which is really good because then you're going to also get a search of either like a Blue Eyes Chaos Max, Advanced Ritual Art, or a Ritual Spell, which is really cool to be able to search out any of those cards. We then play 3 copies of Synapse Mining. Synapse Mining is really good because it searches out our copy of Ibly, and it's just a really good 3 of the deck to search out our copy of Ibly, and then 3 copies of the Map. Map is really good in this deck because it actually searches out your copy of Ibly, and has the ability at the start of your main phase 1, this card has to be the very first card that you activate during your turn. You get to add a monster with 0 attack from your deck to your hand, but half your life points after adding it to your hand. Until the end of the next turn, after this card was activated, you cannot activate the added monster's effects or the effects of cards with a name until you normal summon that monster or a monster with the same name, which is totally fine because we're going to immediately normal summon out that copy of Ibly and link it away for a copy of Alamarad so we can give it to the opponent in defense position so that we can actually go in for game with Chaos Max once we summon it to the field. So that's it for the main deck, guys. Let's get into the extra deck. So for the extra deck, we're going to be playing 2 copies of Salamangreat Alamirage. This is just in here so we can link away the copy of Ibly to summon out this card. This card is really good as a 2 of just to link away your copy of Ibly, summon out this card, and then give that copy of Ibly to the opponent. For some of the Nadir Servant targets and the Dogmatica cards we're playing in the deck to be able to send to the graveyard, we're playing a single copy of Skull Knight. Skull Knight is really good because it's kind of like Elder Entity Nist. It has the ability that you can pop a card when this card touches the graveyard, but it lets you choose because you can banish this card from the graveyard. to target a card your opponent controls or target a monster on the field and destroy it, which is a pretty good effect on this particular card because you get to pick when, where Elder Entity Nist is as soon as it touches the graveyard. We then play 2 copies of Elder Entity Nist. This card, as soon as it touches the graveyard, you get to target a card on the field and destroy it, which is a really good effect. We then play 2 copies of Garura. Garura is so that we can draw a card as soon as it touches the graveyard, which is really good. We then play 3 copies of Herald of Arclight. This card is one of the most important cards in the entire deck, and we're trying to get this card in the graveyard as quickly as possible. That as soon as this card touches the graveyard, you get to add a ritual monster or a ritual spell from your deck to your hand, and it is not once per turn. So we're basically playing as many ways as possible to be able to get this card in the graveyard, from Extra Foolish Burial to Nadir Servant, to be able to get this card in the graveyard so we can search out Blue Eyes Chaos Max or our copies of our ritual spells. We then play a single copy of Deep Sea Prima Donna. Prima Donna is really good as one of, because if this card is sent to the graveyard, you can target 1 banished card and shuffle it into the deck. It also has 1500 attack, which is really good to search out your copy of Ecclesia. Then we'll play a single copy of Wind Pegasus. This card is very similar to your copy of your Fossil Warrior, because it has the ability that you can banish this card from your graveyard, target 1 card your opponent controls, and shuffle it into the deck. But it does let you pick when you banish this card from the graveyard, which is a great effect. I then play a single copy of Number 97. Number 97 is really good in this particular deck because it has the ability that you basically detach a material from this card and then special summon out 2 copies of Numbered Dragon Monsters and attach one to the other. We're always going to either be summoning out number 38 because it's a spell negate, or number 100 because this card can come out at 9,000 attack points and OTK the opponent. We rarely summon from the extra deck, but they're still really good to have as option in this particular deck. The only card that I did consider putting in this deck that I didn't was a 5-headed dragon, because your copy of White Knight of Dogmatica, because it will boost it up to 2,500 by just sending that card alone, which is an option for you guys if you want to drop, say, Prima Donna for a copy of 5-headed dragon, or any monster that has 5,000 attack points that you can put in the extra deck, like Dragon Master Knight, which would be a cool addition to put on top of the extra deck if you're playing this deck. So that's it for the deck, guys. I hope you did enjoy. This deck is super fun to be able to play. If you guys have never played Blue Eyes Chaos Max, you should definitely give this deck a try. It's super fun to be able to just OTK the opponent by giving them that copy of Ibli and then attacking into it with Blue Eyes Chaos Max Dragon. So anyways, guys, this is DarkArmedDuelist. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell there so you can come part of our notification squad, and we'll see you guys in the next video. See you later, guys.